Hello everyone. So we're going to discuss about color theory in this video. So I'm Architect Grace Ansika, Assistant Professor in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, School of Architecture and Interior Design. So I've been teaching the first years the color theory for almost 5 years now. So let me tell you how color is important and how it actually influences design through this video. So let's start the class. So this is called as the color wheel. So this color wheel is actually the base for your design, your elements of design, and things like that. Now this color wheel has multiple colors in it. Basically 12 colors are there inside this color wheel. Out of this 12 colors, there are two colors you are not able to see. One is white and the other one is black because those two are not considered to be the colors. Now, coming to the point here. So we have three primary colors. They are called as primary because if we have these three colors alone, we will be able to get the other colors by mixing them in a particular proportion. So that is why these three are called primary colors. And we can never get this primary colors by mixing any other two colors together. So the three primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. So these three are called as the primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Now, there are a second set of colors. They are called as secondary colors. So secondary colors comes when we mix 50 percentage of one primary color with another primary color. So in 50-50 ratios. Now let's say I'm mixing 50 percentage of red with 50 percentage of yellow. The resultant color is going to be something called as orange. Okay. Same way, if I'm going to mix red along with blue, sorry, yeah, red along with blue, the resultant color is going to be purple. Let's go to the other side. If imagine I'm going to mix yellow and blue, the resultant color is going to be green. So is there any other proportion that we can do it? No. So these three are the only secondary colors we have. So what are the three secondary colors? Purple, orange, and green. Now, so we have seen six colors now, and we almost have six more colors. And those six more colors are basically called as tertiary colors. So when does a tertiary color evolve? When I mix one primary with one secondary color, the resultant color is called as the tertiary color. Let's say I mix red along with orange, the resultant color is going to be red orange. So whenever I name a tertiary color, we always start with the primary color and then end with the secondary color's name. So this particular color is called as red orange. Now let's say I'm mixing orange along with yellow. The certain color is going to be yellow orange. Here yellow is the primary color. Same way here green and yellow are going to get mixed and the resultant color is called as the yellow green. Here again, let's say green and blue is getting mixed. The resultant color is blue green. Again here, if you see blue and purple are getting mixed, the resultant color is going to be blue purple. And here, red and purple are going to get mixed. The resultant color is going to be red purple. So there are 12 colors in the color wheel. Three primary colors, three secondary colors, and six tertiary colors constitutes the primary wheel. I've already told you yellow, blue, and red are the primary colors. I'll go back to the color wheel. If you see, these three primary colors are equidistant from each other. Okay. And the secondary colors, again, if you see the purple, orange, and green are equidistant to each other. Secondary colors, orange, green, and purple. Tertiary colors, again, you can see the combinations here. Yellow, orange, red, violet, blue, green, and yellow, green. In all these naming systems, primary color has to be in the start of the area. And we have already seen three color schemes now. Coming back to the next color scheme, if you see the entire color wheel, you can see that this area, half of this area belongs to red, orange, yellowish tones. And the other half is basically belong to green, blue, and things like that. So whenever I say, let's say, I say imagine a sea or an ocean. The moment I say that, you will imagine a blue sea. Okay. And let's say it's a forest. It's again very calm in nature, and you imagine a green color. So these colors are associated with calmness or chillness, let's say a peacefulness and things like that. So half of the wheel is called as the cold colors, where you have predominant colors like blue and green, and the other half of the color wheel is called as the warm colors. So you have red, yellow, and orange kind of shades. So usually, if you associate the warm colors with the sunrise and sunset, or sun lights, bright lights, all those, something that gives hot or some warm feeling, it will be associated. So there was one recent study. Um, so they conducted a study that they provided coffee to people, but let's say they provided to 20 people, but they gave it in different colored mugs. So in that, if you see the people who actually had their coffees in red color mug actually felt it hotter than the one which was served in a blue color mugs. So you can see that the color plays a major role in the psychological feeling of the people as well. So as of now, we have studied five color schemes. The sixth color scheme is going to be monochromatic color scheme. When I say monochromatic, mostly you will associate yourself with black and white pictures, black and white television, and things like that. But actually, mono means one. Chrome basically represents color. So let's say in the picture, you can see that there is a red color and associated colors of red. Let's say I mix black or white or gray with the red color, whatever the resultant colors I get. So there is only one chrome or one hue, and with that hue, if I mix some neutral colors like white, black, or gray, I get resultant colors. Many colors can be actually. We cannot say that only this many number of color. It is there. It is called as a monochromatic color. So there's only one color, and it is basically to represent single subject items, and it is based like you know whichever thing that you want to express. For example, red in the case. So you can see many food kiosk or Domino's, KFC, everywhere red is getting dominated. Those areas they might use monochromes of reds. So let's also see some example like how monochromatic colors are getting used. So you here in the first picture, you can see that yellow and yellow's monochromatic colors are getting used here. Here again, red and the monochromatic colors of red is being used here. So usually in pictures or movies or any posters that they want to represent in a very like serious tone, they usually use the monochromatic colors, as you can see the pictures itself. Okay, the next color scheme is called as the analogous color scheme. So analogous basically means adjacent to a color. So let's say in this picture I see a purple here or red, purple, whatever. So any three colors that are adjacent to each other, okay, neighboring colors. So these sets of colors are basically called as analogous. Now let me go back to the color wheel. Yeah. If you see here in the color wheel, let's say what is the analogous color of red? The analogous color of red is going to be red violet and red orange. So that is how we say it. Let's say what is the analogous color of yellow orange? Yellow orange analogous color is going to be yellow as well as orange. This is little different from monochromatic because in monochromatic, if I say yellow and its tone, this orange is not going to come. So, or let's say monochromatic colors or analogous colors of yellow. Here you can see yellow orange as well as yellow green. So this is analogous in nature. There are two tones of colors, but they are like neighbors to that particular color. So you have a sense of oneness to the analogous color, but yet you can feel that there are two more colors in nature. So these are the examples of analogous colors. These three images doesn't look like a monochromatic one. It may look like a monochromatic one, but deep down you can see here red purple is being used here. Likewise, the other picture also. Like here you can see blue green is getting used and green is also used. So this is for example for analogous colors. And then let's go to triadic colors. So usually triadic colors basically means any three colors that are equidistant on the wheel. So when I actually spoke to you about the color wheel, I told you that primary colors are equidistant in nature, which basically means primary colors also falls under triadic color scheme. So now let's say how many sets of triadic colors can be there. Okay, so there are a total of 12 colors. So within the 12 colors, I can basically get four sets of um, triadic colors. So one is primary, one is secondary, and I have two more sets of primary colors. The only thing you have to keep it in mind in terms of triadic colors is that it has to be like equidistant to each other. So in triadic colors, if you see, so this example, what we see here is primary colors. These three primary colors are not at all related, but when we see it in analogous, they were related: yellow, green, yellow, orange. So they were related, but here it looks like three extreme colors. Same way, all the other combinations of triadic schemes also will be seen. So where will I use it? So it is said that it's very best to use for cartoons and scenes that are surrealistic in nature. Let's see some examples. You can see here. So one over here in the cartoon, and there's a famous painting of Jesus. So here you can see that primary colors are basically used. And here again primary colors, but in even little subtle in nature. That's it. So usually something that you want to show it in a dramatic way, in a very, to attract people and also give equal weightage to three characters or something. That is when we use triadic colors. The next scheme is complementary color scheme. So complementary color scheme is very simple. Whichever color you pick, the color which is opposite to that color is called as the complementary. Although they are in the extreme ends, they definitely are going to be pleasing your eyes. Here, for example, we see that red is exactly opposite to green. So red and green combination belongs to the complementary color scheme. And this combo or this pair, you can use it anywhere, but let's say in a design, if you're going to use red as well as green, don't use it in a equal portion. That way, although both are bold colors, you cannot basically give any importance to any of the characters. So usually in a scene when it is dominated by red or something, a tinge of green here and there is going to highlight that particular portion. So a very good color scheme, complementary color scheme. So you can see it in fashion industry in a very lot way, like in pairing the outfits and things like that. And then they're also very popular anyway. So although I say it is complementary and it is opposite to each other and all, you may think where I will use such dominating color or something like that. But in actual scenario, you can see that it is being used in many places, many fields, many posters, prints, media, and everything. So this is an example. So here, if you see, the red is there, but green is only used in a particular small portion. Okay? Same way here again, red and green combination. So you need to use the complementary colors in a nice way. If you see here, a certain amount of yellow and violet is getting used. Okay, let's go to the next scheme. Split complementary. So in complementary scheme, it was the color that is exactly opposite to the color chosen. But here, if I take a color, I take the exact opposite, but instead of taking it directly, the color gets split. Okay, not the color gets split. Let's say I'm splitting it up. Instead of the center direct one, take a split. Okay, the two colors that are there in the extreme opposites. Okay, these three together forms a split complementary color schemes. Now, how many colors are there in this? Three colors. So these three colors. So let's say how many pairs are going to be here. If it is three colors, then there almost be four pairs of split complementary. Am I right? No, I am not. So why? Because each color has its own split complement. Let's say green, red is there. Red's split complementary is uh, blue green. Sorry. yellow green and blue yellow. But if you see for the blue, okay, I'll better go back to the first slide. Okay, let's say here. So here I have purple. What is the split complementary of purple? The opposite is yellow, but I'm not going to take the yellow. Yellow orange and yellow green are the split complementary of purple. Let's say what is it for yellow orange? I take yellow orange, its split complementary is purple and blue, but not the other combination that we saw. So we basically have 12 sets of split complementary colors in our color wheel. Let's say we have complementary colors. How many sets of complementary colors are there? So there are a total of 6 sets of complementary colors. Because let's say purple. Purple's complementary color is yellow. What is yellow's complementary color? Purple. So it's going to be the same. Okay. Okay. Let's see a few examples here. Hope you're able to see a few examples. So it's equally dominating. You're not actually giving much of, you know, this thing. It's very useful. Tetradic color scheme. So tetradic color scheme, the other name is basically double complementary, but I call this as rectangular color scheme. So it is easy for us to identify how to get the two pairs out of it. So usually, let's say I'm taking one color in the color wheel, leave 3 spaces, take the fourth color, leave 1 space, take the other color, again leave 3 space and one color. So that is how you get your rectangular color scheme. So you're going to choose one color first, leave 3 spaces, pick a color, leave 1 space, pick a color, leave 3 spaces, pick a color. Automatically that one gap will be used there. So it is best basically used in terms of foreground and background, because too much of complementary happening here. We cannot use everything. So multiple color shades together is what is going to give you this tetradic color scheme. So you can see the examples. So not the color wheels color is usually get implemented, but you can see that the colors are being equally spaced, not dominating each other, but equal weight colors. You can see it. Okay. So I told you that tetradic color scheme was called as the rectangular one. Here you can see that it is square color scheme. Square color scheme. So you know that if I'm going to draw a square, whatever the colors that are getting connected inside is called comes under the square color scheme. Now you can see here an example is there: green, yellow, orange, red, and again blue is also there. So usually you pick a color, leave 2 spaces, pick a color, leave 2 spaces, pick a color, leave 2 spaces. You will get your squares. You can see that if I'm going to put the squares, how many sets are going to come? 3 sets. Okay, so all this complements each other. So one example is over here. Although it is bold and dramatic, you can see it is, it gives character to the spaces and all that. So this is about the color wheel and the color schemes. So apart from this color also has certain characteristics. Let's say I call a particular dress as red. Few may think it is not red. Like they say no, it is maroon, or they say it is chameleon color or something like that, or they say brick red and things like that. So there is no such thing as one particular color or one single this thing. You have more characteristics to a particular color. Let's say I have 4 shades of red. I have a nail polish, I have 4 nail polish, all the 4 are red, but yet they are not all same. So what is the characteristics differentiation that it is going to give? Okay. So usually hue. Hue is the nature of color or the color family. So whatever we saw it in the color each color is called as the hue. Okay, they are like the head of the family. Yellow, orange, purple, green, blue, red, all those things are head of the family. Usually the primary and the secondary colors. Now, let's say I'm going to, for example, let's say you're going to a ready-made shop or something, you're taking a sari for yourself. You must have noticed your mom would have done that. Let me take the sari outside and check the color, how it is going to. Because the sari, when I kept it under the light, it is of different color and it is glowing and all those things. But if I take it to a white light, it is becoming a different color. And if I take it to the natural light, it's going to become a different color. So it is like the intensity of light plays a major role in how we perceive the colors. Okay. So this how dark the color is, how light the color is. Okay. So here basically in physical means, let's say I add a little bit of white, it is little pinkish in nature. Let's say I'm going to add a little bit of darkness to it. It is different. So when we see monochromatic colors, right? So that intensity, like how dark is the color and how light is a color. So that kind of differentiation gives the value of color. So hue is the actual color. So value of color basically means how dark or light is the color, and chroma. Chroma is basically is the like what is the intensity of the color. Okay, up in the value it is only about the darkness or lightness, but when it comes to chroma it is the intensity, how much red paint did I use it here. So that is the intensity of color. Let's say the red is bright red, it's very dull red. So that kind of differentiation is what we call it as the chroma of a color. Here you can see the difference. So chroma is another name for chroma is saturation. Okay. So those three is different. Now we have three more things. So we call it as tint, tone, and shape. Very easy, very simple. So I have a hue. Hue is basically the true color. If I add white to it, okay, the white can be added in any proportion. I can even add one drop to it, half a drop to it. I just have to touch and add something, all those things. Okay, it could be any amount of white that could be added to a hue. Whatever the resultant shade that comes to you, it is called as the tints. Tints of red, tints of yellow, things like that. Now, when I come to the tone, tone is basically means I'm having a hue, I'm adding gray to it. So gray, when do I get gray? If I add 50% of white and 50% of black, the resultant color is what we call it as gray. Okay. So to a hue, if I add gray to it, then the resultant color is what is called as the tone. Now, third one is I have a hue and I add black to it. I can add same any quantities of black to the resultant hue. So the resultant colors, the sets of colors that we get is what we call it as the shades. Okay. So tint is adding addition of white, tone is addition of gray, and the shade is addition of black. You can also see this wheel. Like each color has its different mix. So the outer ring are the hues. The inner ring, that is the addition of white. We see the tints. Even in a ring, like third ring from the outer, it is addition of gray, that is tone, and addition of black is in the innermost ring. I hope you'll be, let's say, just see any one of the color. Let's say yellow. This is the actual hue. I add white, it is becoming very light. And I add gray, it is giving me a kind of this thing. If I add black, getting an entirely different kind of yellow, but still it's an yellow. Okay. Now, how you can use, there are a few exercises that will be given to you during a basic design class or something. So, or in any subjects. So, how shape is used in a color is how color is used in a shape composition. So each color in each of the shape represents a different kind of meaning. If you, it is actually a two-dimensional picture, the first example, but you can see that since I've used three types of blue in next to it. Okay, so my eye perceive this composition as if it is three-dimensional in nature, although it is two-dimensional. If you see here, I have a square here. Square is surrounded by different colors. of different tint, tone, and shade. It is not same. I cannot tell you that this is tint, tone, or shade, but it is different. Okay, you have, let's say, tint of blue here. Here I have a tone of blue, and here I have a shade of blue. Because of that differences, okay, I can see that it is three-dimensional in nature. So how it is, but why am I perceiving it that way? If you see that, um, let's say there is a cube and light passes from the left side, automatically the cube, the portion, the square which receives the light is going to be lighter, and the portion which are on the sides are going to be little darker, and the one on the rear end is going to be darker than the rest of the sides. So same colored cube with the intensity of light, it is giving some other color in nature itself. So our eyes perceive things that way. So when I use the same color but with the tint, tone, and shade of that color, I'm able to give a three-dimensional look. You can see here also some tetradic color scheme is getting used here. You can see how intense this particular, let's say this becomes a pattern for a tapestry or for a furniture. Anywhere I can use it. So we are creating patterns and the color is giving some kind of meaning to the patterns. Let's say this entire composition is made only out of yellow. Only yellow, not 10-tone shade. What happens? This entire thing looks like a sheet of yellow paper. Okay, so the color plays a major role. Or let's say this, instead of here blue, I'm going to add yellow here. What happens? So this portion gives me a monochromatic look, which basically make this orange portion to be more dominant. Okay, so this color, you have to play with the colors to give the strength to that particular color and to the design. So here you can see one example where where you have same composition but with different colors. How it is same. Okay, this is all just for you to look and learn. Again, so here you can see 10 tone shade of the same color. Everything looks like a different pattern, although it is similar in nature. It is similar, it is the same pattern, but because of the color differences, look at it. And when it is put together in one particular composition, look at the magic. Okay? Although it is two dimension, it is definitely giving you a three-dimensional vibes. Right? The color can also be used in the logos. Basically, it is important in logos because a logo is a simple design, right? It's going to be very simple, very small, but it's going to get used in most of the branding works, right? So let's say Samsung is there. Here you have Red Bull. If you see the logo, there are few points that we need to remember. The logos needs to be simple. The number of elements or the colors used has to be minimal in nature. Avoid blacks. Okay, minimal black or something, but not the solid heavy blocks or something. So the logo has to be simple, minimal elements, minimal color. Okay. But it has to tell the meaning as well. Okay. So it's like, let's say I'm going to ask you who you are. You're going to tell me your name alone, but that name is not going to tell me who you are or what type of person you are. But here, let's say you have SBI bank's logo. Here you can see a round, blue round with small keyhole in it. So it basically represent key to happiness, or it is like you can put the key and open it or something like that. Very simple, very simple. All it has is one circle and one more shape in the middle, right? So the logo has to be very simple in nature, but yet it has to convey the meaning to the audience or the ones who are going to use it. Okay, now you have here is the other half you can see poster. So whatever the color theories we study, you have to put it in a poster. So this everything, for example, in this particular one, okay, it shows like nothing is there, not the full face is not seen, but one eye with that strong angriness is conveying me a sense that it is going to be a thriller or it's going to be something that is very serious in nature, right? The second logo, it's very funny, very chill, or let's say there's a rowdy person there. It's like I can do anything or something like that. And you can see the third one, which is again action oriented. By looking at the poster, we can say it's very thrilling. He's going to find something. He's in charge of finding something, investigating something, whatever that is. So the poster, without even reading what it is inside, it has to convey the meaning. So how do I tell that? With the use of colors. Let's say the third poster, you can say it is very monochromatic in nature, right? Only the tonal values are gray, all those things are here. So you can see that this poster conveys that there is a seriousness to it. Instead of adding more colors to it, the seriousness can be seen because of the monochromatic value of the gray alone. I think that's all for regarding this color theory and exercises. Thank you.